Hey everybody, Maude here, head professional at the Canterbury Golf Club in Kent. Thanks for joining us. Have you ever wanted to know how to transition from your backswing to your downswing correctly? You found that you're getting into the top of the backswing pretty good, but you're unable to get that strike that you're after. Maybe you're striking behind the golf ball, or maybe you're getting those slices or the odd hook now and then, and you want to know how to get from here to here far more effectively. You've probably heard of various different kind of ways to do it. You've probably heard of people asking you to move the hips across, maybe even squat into the golf ball. You may have heard of people talking about dropping their arms so you can get, down in position. Some people have talked about when you're from here, flattening off the club. So who's right? How many of those things have you actually tried, and how much is that is actually working for you? Now, for my clients, all the advice is pretty good, but a lot of them are really struggling to take that advice and transition it actually into hitting golf balls. Well, I've got a drill that I actually got from a wonderful coach out in Dubai, Stephen, that is working so well, and a recent client of mine, Alan, had exactly the same problem that you may be having. And I gave him this drill, and within in an hour session, we really got him transitioning from here to here so much more effectively. But what's more important about this drill is he could take this drill, go home, practice it at home or on the driving range, and get some instant feedback as to whether he's doing it correctly or not. I find with a lot of exercises out there is that the problem is, how do you know whether what you're being taught you're actually doing? And often there's the case is that you're often trying certain things, but you can't see whether it's working or not. You've got the ball fly, obviously, if you're hitting good shots, but ultimately, how do you know whether you're actually getting into the position that you wanted? So the other aspect is that a lot of these exercises that you do are often kind of quite wooden and they're disjointed, and it's quite difficult to sometimes knit them into a proper golf swing. I hope this exercise, this drill that I'm going to show you today, will really help you do that, because it did for Alan. So let's get cracking. So the way it works is grab in this case a golf ball. Stephen actually uses a tennis ball with me, but I can show you that later. And what I want you to do, I want you to get into a setup here. So the first thing is you need to get up into a decent posture position. So if you haven't already seen how to set up properly, I'll put a link in my description below how to get the perfect posture. It will really help, because you need to, in a sense, from this position here, tip from the hip bone here, so that we get the center of gravity moving forward, and we get the legs nice and loaded here, because we want to get the club into a position really good at the top here to do this. We don't want to sat back and too much knee flex, sat back on our heels and get the club being dragged around. So good posture is really important initially. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to let the arm just naturally hang down here. We're going to take our left hand, put it under the armpit of the right, and what we're going to do here is we're going to curve the fingers back here, and I'll show you how that works. So from this position, we're going to get the arm swinging back. Now, what this does by having the fingers back, it keeps the right arm nicely in front of the chest. We don't want this drifting behind here, because what we want to do is to strike a ball, we need to put pressure down into the ground and on the golf ball. If we let the arm drop around here, can you see how it's going to be quite difficult to put pressure in unless we do this, which a lot of golfers do. They get stuck behind and they throw it. So just setting up the drill here, nice and simple, arm under here, fingers back, and all we're going to do is this. We're going to swing to the top here, and then we're going to throw the ball down where we would normally have the position of the ball for, let's say, an iron. Now, I'll show you this initially how it works. We'll throw it up, throw down, and what I'm going to get from this is instant feedback. It trains you how to get the correct release. If you're releasing it good, it will land in the spot. It will also help you to get the correct path, because what you'll find is those of you who release or hang on to the ball, there's a few out there, you hang on too tightly, you come in here and then suddenly you're throwing it, the ball's bouncing here and flying off to the left. That's going to be a problem, all right? But again, you've got instant feedback. For someone like myself, I would probably get, if I had a problem, it would probably get a little bit inside. I have to often react here and get a bit inside. Well, the great thing about that for me, I might drop the ball here, and then suddenly the ball flies off to the right. Wonderful, I've got feedback. Now, what we want to be able to do is obviously get this lovely bounce into position and the ball skipping forward. If you can do that, well, you can do this at home. You know, find a wall, grab a tennis ball, start practicing throwing it down in the spot and skipping forward. One thing to watch out for when I first gave this drill, I think I almost killed one of my students. I said throw it down, so they did, and they kind of, we were actually on the driving range, so the ground's a little bit firmer, and they kind of went here and they threw it straight down like this, and it kind of almost hit them in the face. So watch out for that. What we're trying to get is a skip of the ball. So what I want you to imagine is we're trying to get the ball bouncing and skipping forward, all right? So it's bounce and skipping forward. That's the type of reaction on the ground. It's like, it's a good image to have if you're throwing it. It kind of helps rather than throwing it straight down and having it come up in your face. So from here, we're gonna swing back, we're gonna throw it down and try and get a skip. And it's a good example. So mine there, by the way, went a little bit to the right. Now I know for me, that's me getting a little bit here. So again, it's wonderful feedback for me to work on before I move to the second phase. Now the second phase, we obviously want to get to hitting a golf ball, right? So the second phase from here is without hitting the ball, we grab the golf club, right hand, same thing, go down the grip a little bit, tuck your fingers under, and what we're going to do here is we're going to swing the club to the top. I'm going to let the club drop down exactly as we were doing with the golf ball, all right? So one more time. We're going to swing the club to the top here, throw it down, and you'll notice I missed the ground. What does that mean if you're missing the ground? It means you're not letting the gravity drop. Great feedback again. So from here, up here, we're going to get the transition right. We're going to drop the club down into the ground and through. Now I would do this quite a few times. If you find that the club's a little bit heavy, go down the grip a bit and make sure you're not holding it too tightly. You want to let this heavy weight swing up to the top here, and then you let the gravity of the golf club here just simply drop down to the ground. Once you've done that a few times, again, don't be in a rush to do this. Don't be in a rush to hit golf balls. The throwing exercise itself will be just brilliant enough for you to get feedback. You want to be, in a sense, getting a ball throwing nice and straight and in the spot that you wanted. Then obviously from here, we're going to work to hitting a golf ball. Same principle, swing it up, and then we're going to simply drop the club down exactly as we're doing, throwing that, and hopefully getting a similar kind of effect. Okay. I actually got that a little skinny. All right, so I didn't quite get the drop, but again, brilliant feedback. So what we're going to do again, so if I was throwing a ball there, that would have gone a little bit out to the right. So let's do one more. Back. Beautiful. That's the one I wanted. So this is practice. As you can see, look, there's me, one ball, skinny out to the right, immediate feedback. That would have been this. Throw that ball down, get the sensation of that release, and then away, go through with it. Now, please really give the drills a go. Don't rush into hitting golf balls with this. The drill is so powerful once you really practice it. It can be a little bit tricky initially, so go with it, stick with it, and you will get so much great feedback that you can. My goal is always for you to teach yourself when I'm not around or your coach isn't around. This drill does a couple of things. Not only does it give you feedback, it's a flowing exercise. It's not decompartmentalizing the swing too much. So it's something that you can transfer fairly quickly into the full swing. Thanks so much for watching, and there's two things you can do right now for me. If you're enjoying these videos, you're enjoying the training, subscribe to the channel, really appreciate it. And if you want some tips and tricks that I don't share on this channel, head over to my website right here, and I shall see you on the other side.